Are going to get the informal tour with my shaky camera because my other one is doing a little time lapse here. So here we've got the bed, beautiful York map. We've got our PGs, menu, room service, all that stuff. Got the red phone. I thought this was a connected room. Out. A gorgeous bathroom. Beautiful walk-in shower. My favorite part, and this is the part that I paid extra for, is over here. And obviously I'm gonna pull out my. That is what we paid extra for. Love it. But you've obviously seen all of the stuff that we've been up to. The last couple of days have been pretty crazy. Today is Mother's Day. If you're watching this a month from now, by the time I post this, then happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I'm so behind on posting. I'm well aware of it, but you know, it is what it is. We got on the train tonight and we came to York. We're here for 24 hours and then we go to Edinburgh tomorrow. It is very stressful because obviously we're, you know, trying to speed run a city in a day. But from what I've been told, York can absolutely be done in a day. So we're going to do our best to do that. I'm like repacking all of this because we literally are packing everything up in less than 24 hours and just like getting back on the train. Before you ask why we didn't just go to Edinburgh instead of doing a day trip from London and then having to worry about like getting back on a train or getting back on a bus and like coming all the way back, we decided that we were just going to do York instead. It's 2 hours on the way. We can have basically a full day in York. Get up as early as we want, go sightsee, go do, and then literally hop on a train and we don't have to worry about bags or anything like that. We can really just focus on like doing what we need to do. But right now I only have like one tote bag, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not hopeful that I'm going to be able to get all of this on a carry-on, but we're gonna see. Honestly, the books alone are like a solid like 8 pounds. Oh god, that's gonna hurt. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the morning. Back at it again with a voiceover. On Monday morning, I got started bright and early as I did not sleep very well. York really lived up to its title of the most haunted city in Britain as my shower kept turning on and off, full blast, all night long. So by 7 o'clock in the morning, my room ghost and I were pretty much ready to get the day started and say goodbye. So I walked about 5 minutes over into town, through the Roman walls and heading to the York Minster for some photos before trying to find some coffee. I was there before a lot of people were out and about on the town, so some of the shots I got were pretty incredible. They are definitely some of my favorites. Didn't get to stay very long, didn't get to go inside, but definitely on my list to go back. Stopped by Spring Coffee for my first coffee of the day. Pretty solid latte. I definitely needed more than one, so I just kind of downed that one pretty quick before walking around and making kind of a mental list of all the shops I wanted to go back to since they weren't open quite yet, including the actual market itself. So this is Shambles Market. This clip is actually from later in the day when we came back, but it was really fun to go see some of the artisans and some of the makers that were out here, and then headed into the Shambles itself, one of the most famous streets in Britain. This was standing in line for York ghost merchants, as I couldn't miss adopting one of York's ghosts to take home.
Morning, honey.
These guys were so much fun. They were so sweet, so nice. Helped me adopt just the right ghost for myself. They had such a wide array and selection. All of these ghosts are completely unique, and then you can take a picture with your ghost before officially adopting them. Definitely all leaned into the spooky vibe. And of course, the Shambles are largely known as like one of the visual references for Harry Potter's Diagon Alley, but it's also referenced by one of my distant relatives, William the Conqueror's Doomsday Book of 1086, and was a butcher's market actually before the buildings were built in like the 14th or 15th century. So although yes, there are a ton of Harry Potter stores around here and esoteric shops, the spookiness definitely dives quite a bit deeper than that. And I took pics everywhere I could, of course. I then met up with my parents and headed over to Clifford's Tower. This was originally built in wood by William the Conqueror, and then after it was burned down, I highly recommend like looking into the history of it. It's really interesting. It was rebuilt by Henry III. We didn't walk up to the tower, but instead we headed over to York's Castle Museum and Dungeons. They had a really interesting exhibition on interactive attractions and puzzles and toys that my dad and I spent quite a few pounds and pence on to kill some time. And yes, it is just as creepy as it looks. Yeah. Squeeze it. Romantic. Wow. Talk about nightmare fuel. Did not stay around here for long, but did at least have a little bit of fun playing with these. We then walked through some of the remaining exhibitions. The York Museum, I think, is one of the oldest museums in Britain, if not like, I think the first public or like free museum. And they had some really cool interactive exhibits. This one where you could actually walk through an old York street, see some of the storefronts and experiences that they would have had at that day and age before making your way down into the dungeons. I did not get a ton of footage on the dungeons. They were very, very small and very, very dark, and my footage that I do have is very, very shaky, so I did not pull that in. We then ended the day going to York's Chocolate Story, which I believe York is actually the home of Kit Kat bars, which I did not know. Before walking all the way back to the hotel via the Roman walls, this was definitely the scenic route and a great way to end the day, kind of seeing anything that we hadn't already seen. We grabbed a late lunch at this point before we headed right next door to the train station, where our hotel was literally, I think, like 50 feet away from the train station. Before heading up to Scotland, which you will see in the next video. And so I hope you'll be back next week. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.